Okay, we are ready to start our respiratory class, and I'm so excited. I was doing this number on the keyboard last night, just so excited. Going to share this information. So we're going to talk about our respiratory systems and what Young Living has to offer us to support our respiratory system. And I just want to say right off the bat a couple things. This is an FDA compliant class. So we're not going to be making claims. We're not doctors. We don't want you to throw away all of your medication and whatnot without talking to your doctor, because we're not professionals. We're just moms, and we're sharing our experiences, our stories, and some of the things that we've heard that we think you ought to know. So some of the sources that we're going to be using is mostly on YouTube. I have some recipes that I want to share. I'm also using the D. Gary Young, The World Leader in Essential Oils book, just a little bit. And we want to talk a little bit about some of the testimonials that people have had from using these products. But first, we're going to introduce ourselves. I'm going to let Sandy go first.
Okay. Hi, I'm Sandy Dixon. I live in Mexico, Missouri. I'm married to a pastor. I've been married for over 30 years. I just recently, well, a couple years ago, got into Young Living, and as my testimony later will show, that they've really helped my respiratory system. I've got 2 grown boys with both of them married, and one of them has twins coming in May or June, so I'm excited to be a grandma.
Oh, I'm so excited for you too. That's going to be so fun. And they've got names picked out, right? What are the names again?
Yeah. Samuel Allen and Leah Marie.
Leah Marie, so a little
Dixon.
boy and a little girl. Oh my goodness, that's going to be
They
so
got
much fun.
one girl. That's what we're praying for.
Yes,
we're praying for that. So.
Oh, that's good. Okay, I'm Bethany Taylor. If you don't know me, I'm married to Daniel Taylor. We are in Mexico, Missouri. I grew up kind of all over the place, but my stomping grounds is Arkansas area, Northwest Arkansas. And we are involved in youth ministry. Both of us have way too many hobbies, and our budget shows it. We are both pretty crafty people, and we have 3 beautiful, amazing, wonderful little girls. Amelia is 7, Adeline is 5, and Anna will be 2 in April. So they are growing up way too fast. I know it's so cliche, but they are really. And I got started in Young Living. Man, I want to think it. I think it was like 2015. And this will just kind of segue into my testimony a little bit with oils. I first remembered essential oils and being introduced when I went to a friend's house to talk about MOPS leadership. We were having a meeting and we were going to plan it all out, and they were diffusing lemon or lemongrass, one or the other. And I was intrigued, but the more I learned about it, the more I was like, these are, I mean, you got to be kidding me. I don't think that this is right. But so I was pregnant with my second, Adeline, and something happened so that my back went out. And this has happened maybe 2 or 3 times. And I was like walking crooked, and it was not fun. I could not get out of bed. And ELISA, my friend, came over and she took Panaway. I don't even have that in front of me. Panaway and peppermint and olive oil, and rubbed it on my back. And I'm talking instant relief, guys. It was amazing. And I was like in tears with as much pain as oh, there it is, Panaway. I think it has a lot of wintergreen in it. And what else? Do you know what else it has in it?
Yes, it has wintergreen, helichrysum, clove, and peppermint.
Okay, so that's a lot of those oils. I mean, this is not necessarily a respiratory one that we would think of, but it has a lot of those same oils in it. Anyway, so that was my first click, like, man, these things actually work. And I'm so I really do feel like it was the Lord's divine intervention, ELISA didn't really even ask very much. She did not wait for permission to come over and help me. And I probably may have said no, but she was becoming a doula at that point, and she became my doula, which is, it's like the emotional side of midwives. If you don't know what a doula is, they help a lot, and it's worth every dime that you pay a doula. Anyway, rabbit trail. So that was my introduction into Young Living, and I feel bad because I kind of made fun of ELISA for a little bit because I was intrigued, and I came over to her house one time without my kids and flipped through her catalog while she was mopping the floor, and I saw this oil that said finance for $40, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. An oil, $40, and it's supposed to help me with my finances? This is ridiculous. But I have since come around. So that's kind of my testimony. I have some more testimonies here that I wanted to read to you. There's a girl by the name of Carly. She says, my oily testimony is the reason I use oils, talking about her respiratory support. I have struggled with sinus infections and strep throat my entire life. I have been on countless rounds of antibiotics from early childhood on up to adulthood. I even had a how do you say that when you get your tonsils taken out?
Tonsillectomy?
What is it?
Tonsillectomy.
Yeah, that's what the
Tonsillectomy.
Yeah, tonsillectomy at the age of 21. This has not been a small struggle. This has been a huge lifelong winter defeat year after year. I was first introduced into oils when my youngest was about 6 to 8 months old. A friend gave me a sample for teething. She also suggested oils for immunity support. She had seen my struggle, and it took some trial and error to figure out what oils worked best. I would like to share the 2 rollers I use now time and time again. So her first one is the homemade immunity roller. It's 20 drops of thieves, 5 drops of orange, 5 drops of oregano, and she fills it up to the top with a carrier oil. She likes to use coconut oil for coconut liquid oil, which would be fractionated coconut oil. And she doesn't say what size. Oh yeah, 10 milliliter roller. And then she uses Breathe Again. I roll the immunity blend on my sinuses. This is the Breathe Again roller, already prepackaged, really convenient. She rubs it on her sinuses and her throat every 2 to 3 hours until the infection is under control. The key is consistency, and every few hours faithfully for a few days. I also roll the Breathe Again roller on my sinuses 3 to 4 times a day. This routine has kept me antibiotic free for 3 winters now, after a lifelong struggle of having it every single year, man. Shoo! Oh, man. I feel so grateful and thankful for these little tiny bottles and their powerful influence in my life, and I could never put a price on that. I hope this information helps just one of you who is struggling in the same area. One more testimony from Christy Rose. It's much shorter. She says, if I had a cough, I would take 4 to 6 ounces of Ningxia. If you've heard of that, that's our wolfberry antioxidant supplement drink. It's a juice for immune support. I would also take Super C tablets. Those are yummy, by the way. They're chewable. They're really good. I would diffuse thieves and put thieves on the bottom of my feet. I take thieves cough drops. Those are really good. I would gargle with thieves mouthwash, and I would apply eucalyptus topically on my chest. So that's what she said. Oh, and I have one more testimony from somebody else. Somebody said that these oils helped their husband to stop snoring. My husband and I slept in different rooms for a year because of snoring. He now puts a blend of lavender, cedarwood, thyme, peppermint, and eucalyptus across his cheekbones and his neck and chest every night, and we can share a bed again. All the praise hands for essential oils. Also, RC is great, and the Breathe Again roller. Again, this one is really fantastic. RC on the chest in the diffuser, she says, for RC is this one. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And then they also use cedarwood on his big right toe. I haven't got into a whole lot of that reflexology, but I think that, I mean, I keep hearing that that's a really powerful way to target certain areas in our body for support.
Yeah.
Yeah, have you ever done any of that reflexology stuff yet?
Yeah. I have a sleepy time one that I put, and it says to put it on the big right toe, on the right, on the big toes. And then I have a one I do to help with my husband's liver issues, and I put that on the right foot only, right in the middle of the foot. So yes, I've been doing a little bit of the foot stuff.
Yeah. And by the way, neither one of us have any kind of degree. I mean, I don't have a degree. Do you have a degree, Sandy?
No.
No?
Well, yes, but not in any of this. Mine's in theology.
Right.
So no, that don't help with that.
Yeah. So this is
just
attainable. Yeah. Everybody can do what we're doing. This is not some aloof thing. Okay. She also says to help her husband stop snoring, Valor put on the big toe. On each big toe. It works for my husband, at least, and it's the only way we can sleep in the same room together. Cedarwood and Valor are huge helpers for my husband. So now I want to talk about the 5 top respiratory oils and products that Young Living has to offer. The first one, of course, is, surprise, surprise, Breathe Again. This is a 10 milliliter. It's easy and convenient, and it's pre-made by the company, specially formulated by Young Living. A great place to start for respiratory support. It's already got the oil on there. I actually ran out. I used my little tool to pull this off, and I filled it up with more RC, which it's not strictly RC, but I tried to follow some of if I had some of the oils and the ingredients in there, I tried to fill it up back up again. So, I mean, you can recycle it. That's good news. Okay, so I've
done that.
Yeah.
Recycled it with that.
Yeah. Okay, number 2, this is not one that I have, but it's called Sniffle Ease, and this is part of the Kid Sense line. It's 5 milliliter, and it's pre-diluted, easy to use, does not come as a roller, but you can get a pack of roller filaments on the Young Living website. The next one, the third one, is RC. This is an oil that has 3 types of eucalyptus in it. It also has pine and peppermint and a couple others. It's an absolute favorite, and is I call it respiratory comfort. I think that they're trying to be a little FDA compliant here by not saying, but it has eucalyptus in it. So if you know what eucalyptus is, you need that oil. I don't want to run out of that one again. One time I ran out. It was not good. You always run out of the one that you need. In my
one
ER,
you use, that's why.
Yeah. In my ER right now, I have the Everyday Essential Rewards Kit to replenish a bunch that I've run out. And I think that's one of the most cost-effective ways to do it. But
yes.
Let's see. So Peppermint is an absolute classic. You have yours out? You have yours. Is yours a 15 mil?
Yes, ma'am.
Yep, mine too. Okay.
I got my 10 mil coming.
Yeah.
I got my 10 mil coming.
Yeah. This
ER.
This one comes in 5 milliliter, 10 and 15. But if you want it in the 10, this is how it will come. So you can get pepper, I think, right? Isn't that right? Yeah. Sometimes they introduce new ones, and I'm not caught up sometimes. But you can get the peppermint in the 5, 10, and 15. And it's a vitality oil, which means that it's FDA approved for consumption. So if you wanted to make like peppermint brownies or a peppermint tea, that would be really yummy, really yummy.
It's really good in cocoa.
In cocoa. Oh, I'm going to have to go make some cocoa now.
It's really good.
Yeah. Some cream. Some fresh cow's milk cream.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes. So peppermint is fantastic. It's one that everybody needs in their house because it supports so many of our functions. And the fifth one, the last one, is any of the eucalyptus line. Young Living has 3. There's actually over 700 different types of eucalyptus. Oh, you have 2 of them?
Yes.
So funny story.
You the other one.
Yeah, yeah. Funny story. Yeah. So do you want to tell that story real quick?
Yes, I was new in the business and I thought, oh, eucalyptus. Well, I'll just start at the top and get the first one. It was eucalyptus blue. I got it. I'm like, this stuff stinks. I immediately put in the diffuser, got it going, and my husband walked in and said, where's the cat pee? I said, what? What are you talking about? I smell cat pee. I said, no, I think it's the oil. Well, it smells like cat pee. And I had to agree with him. I did not like it. None of us liked it. And I still have trouble with it. And I ended up letting Bethany smell it. And she goes, oh, I like that.
Yeah.
So with just a few drops out of it, guess who got it for Christmas?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I loved it. I loved it. It was so funny because knowing that story, and then when I was doing the research for this class, one of the ladies that I follow on YouTube, her name is Elizabeth Madero, I think. And she was talking about if you only had to choose between the 3, her favorite was the eucalyptus blue. I was like, I feel like eucalyptus smells. Yeah, right. I feel like it smells a little floral. But I've definitely had the experience where some days you will crave an oil. Once you start like detoxing your body from the junk in your life, you can start trusting your body to tell you what you need. And you'll kind of be drawn or crave one oil one day. And then the next day you might be like, oh, that's awful. It's so crazy how the mind perceives these things. And this brings me to another thing that Elizabeth had said. She said, it's odd but true, but if you have a strong aversion and absolutely hate a certain oil, it very well could be that that's the exact one that your body needs at that point. And you can take it as slow as you need to with detoxing, and we're going to talk a little bit about that here in a second because it's pretty related to respiratory support. We only mentioned, so we mentioned 5 of our favorite oils and top oils and products for respiratory support. Honorable mentions that came really close: Thieves, the Thieves lozenges, and you can also buy cough drops. I didn't realize until yesterday that those are 2 different things. Young Living has cough drops and lozenges. So let's see, also hyssop and cedarwood, rosemary, ravenstera, spearmint. I have that one in here.
Yum.
Spearmint is a little bit softer than peppermint, and I just have to smell it because right now I'm drawn to it. Also, Aroma Ease. That one is a really good one. I can't believe that didn't make the top 5. But I used whatever Elizabeth had recommended. And also purification. So one thing she said, one thing that I learned when I was doing research yesterday is that the Aroma Ease is often put in cars for little rollers for kids to use when they start getting seasick, or like just leave it in the little cup holder in your minivan, and the kids can just use it anytime that they're feeling seasick and stuff. You have Aroma Ease?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah? What does that one smell like?
Right there it is. Like a lighter version of Dajai's.
Okay. So it's probably maybe not a diffuser oil. Maybe don't use that one for company.
Right. That might be a foot one.
Yes. So right now, let's just demonstrate the different ways that you can use an oil. One of the ones that didn't even make them honorable mentions, but I absolutely am drawn to if I feel a heaviness in my chest, is any of the tree oils like Idaho blue spruce or pine.
Hmm.
I really like to mix it with peppermint too, but you put a drop on your hands and you just breathe it in. Sometimes you can pat your face if it's not a hot oil. You can just rub it in if you want. Some people put it in their hair. What are some
Yeah.
other ways that you like to use oils?
Well, as long as it's not like the Agiles where it's an odor that I don't care for, I'll put in the diffuser. I'll put a few drops in there, you know, and I'm the mix master. I mix all different ones. I've got papers all over of different recipes I like. I like that one. I write it down.
Yeah.
But yeah, I diffuse it. Another one that you didn't mention, I don't know if you had planned on mentioning, but I had heard a testimonial one time about Palo Santo helping with mucus and such. And so I got it, and I really like it. I'm out of it. I need to get some more. But Palo Santo, I put in my breathing one also.
I'm so glad you mentioned that because I didn't know that. So that's really cool.
Right.
It's neat how we can learn off of each other and all share.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So if I'm feeling a little bit of heaviness, one of the things that I can also do is just drop it on a scarf, or I have like a little charm or something you would call, or you could even use a lanyard and just drip it on there. The really great thing about Young Living is that we don't have, unless you're using like a specific blend, like if you put pine on or lavender, it's not going to stain your clothes. It will evaporate because there's nothing else in it except that lavender. A lot of other companies don't do that. They put other fillers in it and it will stain your clothes. One of the tests that you can do to make sure that your oil is pure is to put it on a piece of paper, and if it stains after a couple hours, you know that it's a blend and that it's not completely 100% truthful to its label sometimes. So let's see, what else do we have here? Okay, so I was talking about eucalyptus and then we got distracted with that story. So if you struggle with continual seasonal discomfort, eucalyptus will become your new best friend. And
yes.
I think I want you to go ahead and share. I think I want you to go ahead and share like your big story of your respiratory stuff that you had going on for years.
Yes, for years, ever since I was a kid, I had this constant cough all the time. And I even was on shots for a while for it. And that doctor, I had said, I was in the hospital when I was a baby. First 3 years of my life, I was in the hospital 5 times with pneumonia. They almost lost me. My parents had to move because they would have lost me otherwise. They said, you want to keep her? Get her off the coast. I was on the coast in Oregon. And so they moved. And all this time, I've had this cough all the time. I mean, year round. It wasn't just a seasonal thing. And so I asked this doctor when I was getting my shots, I said, so do you think I got this cough stuff from the pneumonia as a baby? He said, no, it's probably the other way around. You got the pneumonia because of this. I'm thinking, oh boy. So I used shots for a while, but then we couldn't afford it. So I had to stop. So I've been having to deal with it. My poor husband, he records our services. And so in the middle of it, it seemed like as soon as we'd start recording, I knew. So they say, yeah, she started it. And and so I got into these oils, and I got them just to make the house smell good. I think a lot of people do. I know my brother-in-law's that way. But anyway, I started using what I had in my kit, the RC. That's what started it. Then I got the 2 eucalyptus, and after that I started adding some of these others. But the RC and the Eucalyptus radiata and the globulus, I started using that regularly, and I noticed that I wasn't coughing as much. And one day my husband suddenly said, he goes, you know what, Ernest, you're not coughing now. Now today I am, because we just moved into this farmhouse, and yesterday we were tearing out drywall to put electric in. So I've got all that dust and everything messing with me, but I know that it'll clear out. That and the wood smoke, I'm sure that my body's readjusting from moving out here. But I am just so thankful that I don't have to be coughing all the time. I don't have to eat cough drops 24/7. I mean, it got to the point where I even had to have one in my mouth so I could go to sleep at night. And it's not that way anymore. So I'm just, they work. At least for me, they work.
I am so thankful for that. I think that there's a lot in that story I hadn't heard before. I just knew that you had had a really big breakthrough after years and years.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic. I'm so happy, Sandy. That's so good. I gotta refocus and see where we're at. So I have some recipes for you. So there's this woman on YouTube. Her name is Ayana. I think Ayana Cheek. She has a fantastic chest rub that you will want to make. And man, if we had had this in-person class, I have so many little baby jars that we could have done, but it snowed and the weather, of course, didn't cooperate. So,
well, hold on to it. We may be able to do it another time.
Yeah. And maybe we can show this. We'll already have the class put together, and we can just show this.
We'll have fun making it while it's playing.
Yeah. So you're going to need, in order to make this little cream, you need some organic coconut oil, and you would just use a knife or a spatula or your finger and fill this up pretty full. You're going to put 12 drops of lemon, 12 drops of peppermint, and 24 drops of RC. And then mix that really well. Apply it anywhere on the body away from the eyes. You don't want that in your eyes. It's preferably on the chest, though, like pretty obvious, right? It's especially powerful, though, when you put it on and then you use a warm compress on top of that. That can be really, really effective. I've also made a similar cream for my kids. We call it garlic butter. And the kids hate it because it's just coconut oil and freshly minced garlic. And I put it on them, maybe on their feet, and put socks on, and then their chest. Oh, they hate it. It kind of makes them gag. But it's helped before, like so much so that their coughing went away overnight. So it doesn't always happen that fast, but it's really fantastic. I wonder, it would probably be pretty disgusting, but you could put the garlic in with that other recipe. I don't know how that would work. I've not tried it, but okay. All right. Next, second recipe is to make a respiratory tent. And this is from the same source, Ayana Cheek, on her YouTube channel. And it's kind of funny. I think you need to go watch it. But this woman and her husband are telling how to do this. It's very intense, no pun intended, respiratory tent. You'll need a clean towel. You'll need boiling water and only 1 drop of oregano, 1 drop of any of the eucalyptus. And the lady was sharing with her husband. It was so strong for him that 10 to 15 seconds is all he could take being under this tent with the towel over this boiling water. So you just drop the oils in and then put the towel over your head. Breathe it in as long as 15 seconds. It's very powerful. They even have like a little contest to see who can stay under, like the father and the son. They have a contest who can stay under longest, because I guess it's like just that intense. Very powerful because it moves from your nose to the back of your head. They talk about how it feels. You can also diffuse, though. If that's too much, you can also just diffuse with a little diffuser. And it is honestly best to use a Young Living diffuser, but if you don't have an option right now, go ahead and use what you have. And then later we'll get you a Young Living one, because Young Living's is made to stand up to the quality of Young Living essential oil. Okay, so I think it's really important, and it can be very telling to get to the root cause of the respiratory distress that you might be having. There's many causes. Some of them might be more chronic. Some of them might be a little more temporary. We're only going to cover a few, and I'm going to share a little bit of my testimony. So one of our daily encounters is the constant exposure to chemicals and toxins that we were never supposed to have from the beginning of the world. Did you know that the average woman applies 300 chemicals daily, and 80 of those are even before breakfast if you're taking a shower, if you have cosmetics, and a lot of makeup companies are not clean. 80 chemicals before breakfast every morning in their morning routines. This one was really tough for me to kick out artificial fragrances and stuff. It took me a good week. I knew that I had this big box of perfumes and Bath and Body lotions and soaps that, you know, I'd collected every Christmas. That's a really popular gift. And it was so hard. I battled over that for maybe a good week, maybe longer than that, maybe even a month. I had this box under my bed, and I would just pull it out when I wanted something. And I just finally had victory over it and just threw it out because I knew that it was causing problems. I'm so glad that I did, though. I threw away candles even, and I stopped using fabric softeners. I stopped using the dryer pads that have the fragrance in them. Number one most toxic thing that the average American family has is those dryer sheets. And I've heard doctors say, get those out of your house. They are awful for you. And it makes it really bad because it's not just like spraying around the house with a little chemical cleaner. This is on your clothes, and it's on your skin, getting absorbed into your system all day long and all night long if you wear PJs. I mean, I don't know what you wear to bed, but but it's really sad. I have to guard myself a little bit from thinking too much about it because it gets me worked up, as you can see. The toxins that we encounter, though, have a ripple effect through our body. I assure you that I won't be going back to the old ways, even if I have to, you know, I don't know what the future holds, but I don't plan on going back to that. I used to never have any notion of intolerances, period. Once I started cleaning up my lifestyle, I would go and visit friends. And there was this one time where I visited a friend that had like 8 different candles. And it was the first time I'd been exposed to so much after being off of it for so long. And I had this weird headache that was like, I felt like I was gonna faint. And from now on, I can't handle a lot of the artificial fragrances.
I can't go down the laundry aisles at the stores anymore. It gives me a headache instantly.
Yeah, me either. Yeah. So I found that I had a really hard time breathing and thriving in that environment, and it was pretty telling of years of putting that stuff, exposing ourselves to it. One of the things that we're going to talk about in our coming hormone class is xenoestrogens and how that messes up our hormones. But I just thank God for every kind of victory, because you know, I don't want to be judgmental or to have my nose and my finger in your business and tell you what you should and shouldn't buy and have. But I can tell you my experiences and my stories. I do want to drive a point home here, though. I don't know if you've heard of the beginning of the Young Living story. This is a fascinating book that I absolutely love. It's mostly pictures with a little bit of commentary, but it talks about Gary Young and his start in life and how he came to start the Young Living business. So he was very young, like in his 20s, when he became paralyzed because of a logging accident. He was so depressed because and he tried to commit suicide 3 different times as a young adult. He was so broken. The last time he tried to commit suicide, he tried to starve himself. He dove into a deeper depression because he couldn't even commit suicide the right way because he'd failed doing it. So the 3rd time, he went 253 days without having anything but lemon water. And the weirdest thing happened. He started gaining feeling in his toes, or at least I think maybe in his right foot. And the doctors were befuddled. They were like, this is impossible. What's going on? The only thing that they could figure was maybe he didn't have the nutrients for his body to create scar tissue. And it's a very hard, that's one thing that I think doctors and surgeons really would love to be able to make breakthroughs in, to figure out how to reverse scar tissue. That would be a really big financial breakthrough in itself, I'm sure. But so he started regaining feeling, and it started a very, very hard battle of him trying to walk again. And for a while he was in a wheelchair, for a while he was in crutches. There's an amazing story in this book where he is trying to apply for a job while in a wheelchair, and it took him like an hour to crawl into this cab in his wheelchair to pull himself up so that he could apply for the job and drive this truck and maneuver things so that he could drive it without the feeling in his legs. It's an amazing story. And so at some point he started studying. He started getting more involved in homeopathic type stuff and natural things. He started to fight for his own life, and instead of trying to end it. So this is how Young Living began, and he grew pretty indignant with those who thought that they could make a profit without being completely honest about what was on their labels. And it's a very easy thing to do, by the way, because the FDA does not regulate very well the standards on essential oils, at least. Oh, hold on, you're on mute. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I know. I just told him I told him I was busy. I forgot he might call, but that's okay. He just got off work.
Okay. All right. Okay. We're about ready to wrap this.
I'd call him back.
Huh?
I told him I'd call him back. I told him I'd call him back.
Okay. All right.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. So Gary Young became really indignant with people that were trying to make a profit without being completely honest about their product. And man, I don't know if you are involved with any of the CBD industry and if you know what's going on there, but there are so many companies that are not producing what the label says. And it's called greenwashing.
Yes.
They think that if they put the right kind of label on it, they can fool people into instantly using their product because they think it might be safer. And many times it's not. So Gary poured his heart and his blood and sweat to build a company on integrity. Even when a crop was a little under the standard, and even though it would cost them literally millions of dollars because he refused to sell something less than the very, very best, they stayed with their integrity. And Gary Young put years into researching and learning how to take distillation to the next level. He surrounded himself with people who knew how to distill for generations with knowledge that was passed down from generation to generation. He even invented his own farming equipment and was never satisfied and always was trying to work on the next new thing to make it better and to preserve more, to preserve it. Because up until that time, there really was no knowledge of essential oils and their power. Historically there was, but in the last 100 years we've been rediscovering a lot of things. I wonder, just side note, if we had not been involved with so many wars over the years, if we could have put our energy into, maintaining that knowledge that people had back in the Bible days. Anyway, so getting back to this. So Gary was very hard on himself and he was very hard on others. As much as he had been through, he had little patience for excuses from himself and from others. And I just, I can't imagine. I love the story so much. I love the story of purity. And each bottle that is shipped to your house has been tested 20 times to make sure that its quality is the utmost. It leaves the farm to your house, and unlike other companies that ship it to a lab to stretch their dollar and adulterate the product, God has blessed this company for their mindset of people over profit. And I've seen it over and over again. I'm involved in sharing because I love the company. I'm not loving the company because I'm sharing it. I really do use these on a daily basis, and they've made a big impact on my life and the life of my kids. There's a great likelihood that some of your families and friends maybe they're well-intended and they have a dream of starting their own oils and distillation company. There's somebody pretty local, I think 5-10 miles I've heard away from here, that are hoping to do a lavender farm. But distillation is very tricky and it's delicate. It's a delicate process. And to do it the right way, the way that the lavender French farmers considered to be a sacred thing when the rest of the world knew nothing about lavender, you really need these resources that these precious small town farmers just can't compare with. They can't compete with it. It's very difficult and very costly to make an oil of this high quality. I just want to say I am not into browbeating. I won't be mad at you if I find out that you are using a different product. That's your choice. I want you to have freedom.
Yes.
But what I can tell you is that Young Living has really won my trust. And I have chosen them for a very good reason. I love you. I love the ones that will be watching this, and the ones that have never met me before. I want you to break through. I want you to break free, though, not because of fear. I don't want to try to plant fear into your heart, but because of love. So I hope that this has been helpful. I had just a few more things I wanted to share. One of the favorite classic blends for essential oils to put in your diffuser is equal parts of lavender, peppermint, and lemon. This is kind of the go-to for when the springtime comes up and this is just losing it. Yeah. Keeping the Kleenexes close by. Yeah. So I love the smell of that just on any regular day, whether or not it's springtime. Mm-hmm. Another recipe that is kind of neat, and Sandy can attest to this, doing a thieves tea. So 1 drop of essential oil. Yeah. A little bit of honey. They recommend.
Good in coffee too.
Huh?
Good in coffee too.
Yeah, and coffee.
I like the teas and coffee.
Yeah. I have not tried this yet. I meant to. I started boiling water last night, but I totally forgot. 1 drop of peppermint, 1 drop of thieves, and then a little bit of honey. And if you can get local and organic, that would be the best. But mix in a mug with some hot water, stir, and really enjoy that. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm sure it will be, because Sandy says that it is. So before we wrap this up, I want to share 6 things with you that are free to support your respiratory system, or nearly free. Most of them have nothing to do with Young Living. Number one is praying and meditating on scripture is very healing to all of our systems. Quiet time is really key. And singing, I've recently come to know, is very good for your respiratory system, especially if you're breathing the way that you need to. So just belt it out. It doesn't matter if it sounds good. Sing a song of praise to the Lord. That's the number one. Number two is yoga and proper posture. And while I say this, I'm kind of slumped over. So good posture has a big effect on your breathing. Simple stretching will improve your breathing. Number three, take a stroll outside. And Sandy pointed out that this needs to be in warmer weather, probably.
Not when there's several inches of snow.
Yeah, probably not. Maybe not. So I just want to insert one more story. I know we're kind of running late, but I was reading the story, the American Girl doll collection to my kids, and we were doing the Native American Kaya story. Kaya, I guess, depending on who you are. And they were talking about bathing the kids in the creek every single morning. The ladies would take the kids down to the creek, and it didn't matter what season it was. They would dip them in there, and they said it'll make you stronger. Yeah. I wonder how much stronger we would be if we didn't have climate-controlled, comfortable houses. Of course, I mean, they had problems too that we don't have, maybe. I don't know. But so taking a stroll outside when it's warmer, there are essential oils all around us from the trees and the plants that are naturally growing, and they're free to us. Of course, it won't be as highly concentrated, but it's still, I mean, you can smell whenever the grass is being cut outside, you can smell that. So, and spend time on your front porch or deck. I was doing some research at one point talking about indoor air quality and how we are just really not doing very well in America because we're so exposed to toxins. I think in some cases it even skyrockets the requirements that OSHA requirements. I need to go back and look at that, but I remember it just being very, very telling about where we're at. Number 4 is the really hard one. It's throwing away all artificial fragrances that are creating havoc on our systems between our cosmetics, our candles, our laundry products. Avoid buying Yankee Candle and Bath & Body Works products, especially, even if they say, a lot of them are saying that they're made with essential oils. But what that means is if they have essential oils on the ingredients and they also have fragrance, there was a binding agent that's called a xenoestrogen, and we're going to talk about this in our hormones class. This is bad, 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 bad. Please don't buy that stuff. And you can save money too. Yankee Candle is kind of expensive, so so don't spend a bunch of money on things that are really bad for your health and for your family. I cringe when I see babies that have no choice, but we're each taking a step at a time, right? Okay, so a lot of times though, the products that you can find in stores are just not high quality. They're mixed with toxins. FDA requirement says if you want to have an essential oil and put your own label on it, all you have to do is put 5% essential oil, and it doesn't even have to be the therapeutic quality, just 5%.
Grade.
Yeah, 5%. And then anything else above that can be used. And even so, you can still label it legally 100% pure. So when it says 100% pure, be a little cautious of that. It needs to be therapeutic grade. And I don't know of other oil companies. The people that I trust say that there are other oil companies that do have equal product, but the companies are not situated like Young Living is so that they can produce such good quality. So another really good thing, oh look, I have a plant right here that I'm about ready to talk about. Plants, household plants are fantastic for cleansing the air in your home. I have a bunch of these. These are called pothos in front of my kitchen sink. And sometimes I just smell the leaves and it really does help. I feel like I'm taking a walk outside when I'm doing that. I'm getting fresh air, which is kind of funny. So the snake plant, the pothos, aka the money plant, this one's really easy to grow and kind of hard to kill. Ferns, aloe vera, and the peace lily are some excellent choices for purifying your indoor spaces. And then the last one, find a way to step away from the unneeded stress, because this is a really big thing in itself. When we are filled with stress, one of the things that we stop doing is stop breathing deeply. We slow our breathing down. And I was doing some research this past summer talking about how to heal your eyes and the different methods that are popular out there. There's one called the Bates method, which is trying to train you and help you to breathe deeply and to relax more and to be very aware of that. So as much as you can, see if you can find a way to step away from the stress and try to be really intentional about just breathing deeply. I think it can be a good habit, and I know whenever you are a beginner with yoga, that's one of the things that they just have you do. Stand up straight and have controlled breathing where you hold it in so many seconds and you let it out for so many seconds. So I hope that this has been helpful. I know we've kind of been shooting in some different directions, but it is all related to respiratory support. If you have not taken the first courageous step to get your kit and get started on your journey, we can sign you up right now. Message whoever sent this to you that you're ready, and as soon as possible, really. I mean, the urgency is up to you, but we love you and we want you to have good choices. We're not going to be sticking our nose and our fingers in your business. We're just sharing what's on our hearts. And you have complete freedom. We love you. So go and be free. I have been praying for you guys, and I will continue to do so. And if you're like me, this class very well may be God's hand, God's providence, to help you get out of a lifestyle of doing the same things over again that don't work. Oh, I thank God for these things. God is so good.
Yeah, me too.
So, yes. Oh my. I think of your story, Sandy, and how powerful that is after years and years and years of struggling, and how you've been set free from it. So good.
Yeah.
So this night, this morning, whatever it is that you're watching this, this is your time to make a difference for your family and for your world and your community. You can make a difference by taking the first step. So one more thing. If you see this before February 2020 ends, there is a way for you to have your first step into your membership for a fraction of the cost. Even though that premium starter kit is a good quality deal, they've made a way just for this month only that you can get your membership by getting a bunch of oils without the diffuser and without some of the other samples in
extras.
So yes. So let me real quick try to find and tell you what is in here. So it's called the Welcome Home Starter Kit. It's $125. It has 8 very valuable, very good oils to get you started. It's a fantastic deal, guys. I know that it feels really hard to have to, I mean, sometimes, let's just be honest, that $100 is a lot sometimes, but we're going to have a hard time anyway in life. And we have the power to choose which hard we're going to take. So I mean, I just have to think about my story where I had a dental infection for 2 years and it wasn't causing me any pain. By the time that I caught it, it had eaten away a bunch of my bone in my jawline. And my life is affected by it. And I know that once you have infection getting into your bone, infection can get into your bloodstream and that can kill you in a hurry. And I had no idea how severe my thing was. Whew. But I really do feel like getting started with these oils have saved my life over and over again. And I don't even know, I don't know how to count how many times, but you guys, I'm just thankful. And I've talked enough. Sandy, do you have anything you want to say to close us out?
If you have any interest at all in trying oils, it's, you know, if you just want to try some of them, you know, we can manage to get a sample to you of anything. So give us a call, talk to us, and we'll see what we can do to help you out.
Yeah, and we're not going to charge you for the samples. So it doesn't cost you anything to say, hey, I was interested in this. I want to try it. Would you be willing to have any and send me some? So love you guys. Have a really great day. And yes, love you. May the Lord bless you and keep you and cause his face to shine upon you.